Shalom, Labachayim, Shal Yashala. Peace be to the election of the nation of Israel. That's the chosen, the elect first fruits, starting with the prophets, Hanabayayim, 144,000 out of the 12 tribes of Israel, 12,000 out of each of the 12 tribes of Israel, from Judah down to Issachar, so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, whom the Lord has bestowed upon them chesed and mercy, and of course gave them the word, and of course to be his ambassadors, to wake up the rest of the elect, and to bring condemnation to the world via the word of Yahweh Hashem Shai, or those that are opposed to the words of Yahweh Hashem Shai in the scriptures. Alright, you are enemy to Hamashiach, which is Yahweh Shai, the anointed one, to Yahweh, of course, and will be put out. Okay. Of course, I want to give a shalom to the rest of the elect, which are no prophets but are believers in the words of Yahweh Hashem Shai, Hashem Chakodash. All praises to and glory to our power, Yahweh Bashem Shai, Bashem Chakodash, the God of Israel, the God of you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and the Americans, you Israelites. Your true biblical nationality is you Hebrew Israelites from your respective tribes. Alright. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of the great millstone. Well, peace and salutation to the Lechachar again. Shemya Mafpa, my name is Mafpa, my young God Walla Rakub from the great millstone camp, specifically playing tables by Ayar in the city of Philadelphia. I am Lamadima. I am coming with a lesson little. As you see, the headline reads: Trump faking COVID. Michael Moore and other leftists peddle new conspiracy theory. And of course, you remember this particular man, Michael Moore, with his film. I believe that would be Fahrenheit 9/11. Okay. And I believe in that film, let me see if I can go and look that up. I believe he's going into the illegitimacy of the whole narrative that is told about that event that happened, of course, on September 11th. Okay. And of course, we have the true information about it to best of our knowledge that was revealed, that Yahweh Hashem Shai allowed to come out. Okay, the cover and the veil was lifted, and of course we have understanding of what that really brought forth. And these events that are occurring in the world at this time, okay, they are to bring forth great change and such, okay? But us, of course, as the believers in Yahweh Hashem Shai, we are to, of course, to stay steadfast and rooted in the doctrine of Yahweh Hashem Shai, and not to be given on to change, all right? So you have to watch out, from all of these spirits that are out there and such, okay? And not to be deceived, okay? So, as we know, the enemy of the nation of Israel is Esau Edom, okay, which is the wicked, and also his interest is not for the entire world innocent hold, okay. You have, of course, a new world order agenda, which is truly being established at this time, and right now, Donald Trump, that news came out, I believe, last night, of him and his actual wife, Melania Trump, if that's his wife's name, testing positive to coronavirus. We are dead in the midst of the Korab, which is the middle or midst of this whole presidential election, which you have so much division over this election. And then this, of course, occurs. And it definitely is no coincidence. Now, this is breaking news always coming in. This is off of Zero Hedge. President Trump experiencing shortness of breath at Walter Reed, because recently he was sent to, I believe, a hospital, and for, of course, let's just read into it. And I mentioned this too to the Akim about how Boris Johnson, which is the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, okay, and how he had got the COVID-19. But we are in the midst of an election here in Babylon the Great. Okay, and Babylon the Great is, America being that great whore, and all isn't in the magnitude of what it is when you see, of course, Donald Trump. Okay. Now it says here, like I remember earlier, it said that this man was experiencing mild symptoms. Now this is an update. The date is the 2nd of October 2020 year prophecy. It says it looks like the race for scoops like what occurred after UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson was hospitalized with COVID-19. He eventually spent a few nights in the ICU, during which his condition got pretty dicey. Okay, so no, as what they're reporting, if this is true, things are pretty dicey. It says though he has never been incubated and put on a ventilator, which that probably put him out. Okay, the ventilator has been detrimental, has actually led towards fatalities for people suffering this COVID-19. You can look, of course, into that information up on your own. It says is effectively playing out again with Donald Trump, or President Trump. So, and this is here breaking news. It says Trump has experienced shortness of breath and a fever after arriving at Walter Reed Hospital. So I believe he was helicoptered over. Okay, and they saying this man got a fever and all this, man. So let's read this. And the man is he's above 70. Donald Trump's age, I think he like 74. Let me see, Donald Trump. Google already know what it is. Yeah, 74 years old. Okay. Melania Trump is 50 years old. And according to Slock, which is pardon me, according to their actual E and his science and such, the older you are, of course, are the different health conditions that you may have, that increases the fatality rate of you in this in relation of the CV-19. Okay. So it says here, in the latest hint that Trump's condition may be more serious than his doctor and his team let on to the news, which is NBC. It's reporting that Trump, the president, has developed a shortness in breath on top of other symptoms enlisted early by the doctor, including a low-grade fever. Meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr., his son, claimed during an interview that he had tested negative. So, I mean, you got his son, saying that he tested negative. They, of course, published that this man was positive, and he's sent with these different flu-like symptoms. Okay, to Walter Reed Hospital. I mean, what the article which I had here, which it goes into that is suggesting that President Trump might be lying about having COVID-19 in order to gain sympathy. Okay, or whatever plot in which these elites have up their sleeve. Okay, it being the farce of October, and we know that during these times is a very wicked time on the left hand side for these witches and these warlocks, in which is highly satanic, and they do a lot of course wickedness at these times. Now, we don't know exactly what is going to come up of this, but we can definitely, as the men of the Lord, see that something is being stirred up. Okay? And as the scriptures tell you in the book of Corinthians, Second Corinthians, Lord Willis, this is it. I always get it mixed up. 2 and 10, or 1 and 10, or something like that. Yeah, this is it's 2 and 11. 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It says, Lee Shaitan, which is the enemy or adversary, which this dear news, their media, okay, these wicked people should get advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. And device always go into pneuma in the Greek, cheshab in the Hebrew. I've never checked it out straight forth, but that's the Hebrew. That's, when you think of device, things, wicked thoughts. And I could check it out in the Hebrew New Testament, but not at this time. I want to just stay in the Greek. But it, of course, is going to the evil purpose. Okay, a mental perception or thought. Okay, device. That which you pretty much invent. Okay, and we're no ignorant. We know that Esau is the wicked, as it says in the scriptures, to never trust thine enemy. All right, we don't trust any of this stuff that and his media he'll put out and such, just to feed the masses, whatever fear or confusion they want. Okay, we are steadfast on truth. Okay, facts. Okay, now it continues on in this. It says that as the number of positive tests grows in Slovakia, and he claimed this, he was negative during, as it said, let's see, I'm gonna read this. It says, meanwhile, Donald Trump Jr. claimed during an interview that he has tested negative. Okay, now I'm not sure if he's because this. Let me see. I'm gonna read on Slocky. It says, in other news, the committee on vice presidential debates has decided to expand the distancing between Pence and Kamala Harris during the next next debate next week. As the number of positive tests grows, they got Senator Tom Tillis just tested positive, and many of them have tested positive. Links to the Saturday nomination press conference. You know how they say that you've been around somebody you've been exposed to someone who have coronavirus, then they throwing positives on you. The press is furious about the 3 White House reporters who have now tested positive. Okay, which it says 3 reporters whose job is to cover the White House has tested positive, and one can't but conclude this was due to incidents by White House officials on regarding public safety's best practice, and they're turning the White House into an unsafe workplace for everyone. Okay, so it says here that this is an update. Senator Tom Tillis has just become the latest senator to test positive for the coronavirus. In a statement released minutes ago, Tillis has tested positive, Friday night after being routinely tested for COVID-19 over the past few months. And it is so-called Friday today. Okay, this updated here. They got the hours, military time, 23:30 ET. It says he's urged all North Carolinians to wear a mask and follow social distancing protocols, and to seek a test and help if they become symptomatic. Of course, he's added that he plans to quarantine for 10 days and keeping the CDC guidelines. Okay, so this is the information that's out. Okay, so far they got a list of who tested positive so far. They got Donald Trump, Melania Trump, Trump advisor, this is Hope Hicks, and 1 junior White House staffer, 3 journalists who work at the White House, GOP Chair Ronna McDaniel, Senator Mike Lee, Republican of Utah, I believe, Senator Tom Tillis, a Republican of North Carolina, and Notre Dame President Father Jenkins. Okay, or Notre Dame, however you pronounce it. And it doesn't include the 24 or so lawmakers or government who tested positive across the U.S. Okay, and here's an illustration. Okay, well, actually, it looked like it's an image, which is kind of enhanced. They black out others in the back. It says that, pretty much these people were in close proximity to, let's see, Donald Trump, I believe. Which I would like to blow up this image, make it a bit bigger. So let me see if I can see something. You got Melania Trump right there. Some of these people in, of course, question or or have so-called tested positive. I see Pence right there though. But yeah, so proximity. You can just go look into this stuff on your own. And that's it. Some other information. Okay, of course you had him being transferred. You can watch this clip on your own, which is on news. And we see what it is right now. I mean, it's a lot of information, I guess, in this article. Of course, it says that, remember that number 10 insisted UK Boris Johnson hospital stay was merely precautionary before he spent a few nights in the ER. Right, so they so-called do this precautionary. That's what they're trying to suggest. But hey ho. Now, I just want to go into this information, and then I'll just, bring out a couple of different scriptures and leave off. I just want to bring this information out, as the scriptures tell you that, you have set watchmen upon their walls. Let me see, which that's tazapah usually. The word tazapah in the Hebrew. And this is this is Isaiah 62:6. It says, I have set watchmen upon thy walls, O Jerusalem, which shall never hold their peace day nor night. Ye that make mention of Yahweh keep not silence. Right? Because if we don't, of course, give out a warning, of course, sheep would, if sudden destruction or sudden evil come upon them, that blood would be on our hands. So, we let the sheep know about all what's going about. Okay? You feed the sheep. As the scriptures say, if you love me, feed my sheep, as Peter was told. Okay? So we feed the sheep. Now, going back to this article, that it said that, this man is pretty much saying that he's an evil genius, and I raised the possibility of him lying about having COVID-19. Remember, if Michael Moore is an Edomite, that's their mouth only telling on themselves. But it says here that about having COVID-19 to prepare us to counteracting at his game. Moore posted on his Facebook just hours after President Trump announced a positive test result, and he knows being sick tends to gain sympathy, and he's not above weaponizing this. Okay, and then it gets in this whole left-right site. It says Democrats and liberals in the media and others have always been wrong to simply treat him as a buffoon and a dummy and a jackass. Yes, he is all those things, but he's also canny. And canny goes back to being wise, okay, knowledgeable. Okay, it's a Scottish term, word, right? Knowing or wise, Scottish from the Northern English formation can. It is a sense to know how to, okay? Alright, so now going back, it says he's clever. And, of course, that's E for you. E is very clever. Okay, he's a serpent, a snake. Okay, so he outfoxed Kami. He outfoxed Mueller. I mean, you could go into all of this. This is just, this man's opinion. He outfoxed 20 Republicans in the GOP primary and did the same to Democrats, winning the White House despite having received fewer votes than his opponent. Moore continued. So, I'm not focusing on that. I'm focusing on this. It says that Moore suggested in all caps he may use this to push for delaying or postponing an election, and he may use the COVID as a pretext to drop out of the race and move Pence to the top of the ticket, and Pence would temporarily become the president, and Pence could preemptively pardon Trump of all his claims, the different allegations, which I believe he was that whole impeachment, which is accusing thing, didn't go nowhere. But this is I like this right here, which it says, I'm making a list of possible reasons why setting up this fake illness to recover right before the election could help Trump's re-election campaign. Can anybody add anything? This person, Mitch Clark, put it, and it says here, avoiding the next two debates, which he knows he would perform disastrously, claiming COVID is no big deal, and he was right all along, easing the minds of older conservative voters who may be afraid to vote in person, avoiding the new debate that the commission is considering. It says getting sympathy and making it more difficult for attacks to land, distracting from issues that would benefit Biden and hurt Trump, spinning liberals into a fury, taking the attention from the other issues, making liberals look like hypocrites, and complaining Trump's is quarantined and shaking up the race at a time when he is losing in the polls. And it says throwing a Hail Mary at the last minute, and he's down several points. As we know, this stuff is all controlled. Alright? You got here, he doesn't want to debate. His fortune is fake. He owes 400 plus million. He needs to get so many things out of the news and then get over it miraculously. And we call it a hoax. Never mind the 220, 100,000 plus K dot deed. Alright. It says, I am a billion. This is person here put, I'm a percent sure Trump is lying about having COVID-19. It's a GOP orchestrated hoax to distract, deflect, and gain symptoms to avoid the next debate. And I guess the only thing could convince me. Yeah, this is just things people are saying about talking and saying. But I mean, Trump did allude to an October surprise. Okay, I must note. I'm just going through the spirit, so. We don't know what's going to pop off, but something is definitely brewing. October surprise, which is let's see, coronavirus delivers October surprise. How the phrase October surprise entered the political lexicon. It says, in American political jargon, the October surprise is a news event that may influence the outcome of an upcoming election, particularly one in the U.S. presidency, whether deliberately planned or spontaneously occurring. But remember, this man with his own lips, spoke about it. All right. And then, out of nowhere, you got here Trump's coronavirus October surprise. Okay. President COVID positive test is focused more attention on his poor handling of the pandemic. Okay, people are calling it Donald Trump's October surprise, but in most respects, the U.S. president positive coronavirus test is very different to traditional election bombshell. Unlike, say, Obama, this test or Osama bin Laden tape, which came out October 2004 or 2004, just days before the George Bush's re-election. Mr. Trump unpleasant diagnosis will not necessarily help him in the polls. His positive result will focus attention on his handling of the pandemic, where he's already suffering from a very poor rating. Alright, so it also says, moreover, the fact that he's contracted disease arguably should not qualify as a surprise, having spoken at many indoor rallies and gatherings during the past few months, and almost abjuring a mass. This man abjuring, which abjuring goes into to renounce, his refusal Okay, he refrains from wearing a mask. Okay, but as you know, they tell us we should wear masks. It says Mr. Trump has willfully ignored his own scientists' advice. Sooner than later, he was more than likely to be exposed to the pathogen. Okay. So, I mean, you can read the rest on your own. You know, all good information. You know. It says that, you know, this place curve ain't flattening. You know. No, that's it. That's all I'm gonna say. So I'm just gonna leave this other scripture. Just leave it simple. And then, you know, Yahweh Ratzazah bring out some other scriptures, because this just, you know, the spirit, what the Lord wants out. Of course, the Psalms 64th chapter, I believe, which it says here that this is Psalm 64:5. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune laying snares privily, traps. They say, who shall see them? You know, woe unto them that devise iniquity. And in the dark, you know, say, who shall see them? Roughly paraphrasing some scriptures. All right, Micah and such too. It says here, this is Psalm 64:8. So they shall make their own tongue to fall upon themselves. That's the wicked we're speaking about. All that see them shall flee away. That's right. And then, I mean, I think I have something else. This is Job chapter 15 and 20. The wicked man travaileth with pain in all his days, and the number of years is hidden to the oppressor. Okay, and the oppressor is Esau Edom. Okay, his years, his time, his bounds, he don't know. But the Lord is gonna strike him, you know. So soon. It says a dreadful sound is in his ears, and prosperity the destroyer shall come upon him. He believeth not that he shall return out of darkness, and he is waited for the sword. And he wandereth abroad for bread, saying, where is it? He knoweth that the day of darkness is ready at hand. Trouble and anguish shall make him afraid, and they shall prevail against him, as a king ready to the battle. For he stretched out his hand against the power, and strengthened himself against the Almighty. Okay? And he has done that. So these terrorists, you know, I was just thinking it'd be catastrophic for these people. They'd be like, this man croaked from coronavirus. These people will bug out. You know, they look at these E's as their hope. You know, other men as their hope. You know, these E's I'm speaking about. Now, leave it at that, and probably return to and give an update of other scriptures. Shalom to the elect, call Allah, Yahweh, Shemir, Shabbat, Shem, the Great Millstone. Shalom.